My name is Jonathan Schechter. I run the Schechter Institute, and 22 and 21 was a brainchild of our organization. And it's great to see a lot of faces from last year. That's a nice vote of confidence, and it's also great to see a lot of new faces. So thank you so much for taking the time to come. Jimmy? My job here at the beginning is to give a quick overview of what you can expect for the day. And then I'm going to turn it over to our facilitator, Francis Van Houten, and we're going to get going right away with some work activities. We will take a break around a little after noon. There'll be a buffet lunch right in the lobby where you walked up at the top of the stairs. The plates are obviously in front of you. It makes it easier if you take your plate when you go up to the buffet. And we'll be going around both sides of it. We'll take a little bit of time to get everybody served and settled in. And then we will do a series of talks over the course of the lunch hour. Take another break after that. And then we'll get down to some more work in the afternoon. And by 5 o'clock or so, we will have a wrap. And then we will have beer and wine and refreshments. There'll be a little bit of a break while this portion of the room gets reconfigured and set up for that. So that's what we have to look forward to. We've got a lot going on. Thank you again for coming. And I just wanted to start off by saying a few thank yous. First and foremost to our sponsors. You can see the list of them here, ranging from the Community Foundation, the Wyoming Business Council. Literally, without their support, none of this could have happened. Spring Creek Ranch did a fabulous job this year, and I'm anticipating nothing less. They're a real dream to work with. And in terms of particular individuals, Francis Van Houten with Rainmaker Coaching, you will see what a great job she does. And Mark Fisher with Fisher Creative, we're being filmed back here. And all the videos from all the talks will be put online within the next, within 4 hours after the event's over, Mark? Is that about right? Yeah, about 2, okay. But they'll all be online at 22and21.com. Carrie Roberts at Print Shop 22 did all the print jobs in your packets. And then finally, last but certainly not least, Jimmy Udall is helping me with all things Schechter, including 1% for the Tetons. Jimmy, it's really a treat to work with you. Thanks.
I'm going to work on my title.
Yeah, come on. It's the best I could do on the fly. So, moving on, a couple more thank yous. Hit that, please. Thank you. First of all, to you guys, thank you for coming. Thank you for caring about this community. And it's just really remarkable that you'd all show up. And last but not least, Snake River Brewing is providing free beer at the end of the session. So there's something to live for the next 6 hours. So with that, let me just give you a quick, back. With that, just let me give you a quick overview. Strategic planning, there's 3 fundamental questions. Where are you? Where do you want to be? How will you get there? And if you think about what we're trying to do today, it's really shaped around that way of thinking about things. Where are we? Well, for about 50 years until the recession of 2008 really kicked in, our economy in this region was based around a construction economy, tourism, and to an increasing extent investments. But with the collapse of the construction economy, it's really shaken things around. And so the question of where we want to go, I think there's a general consensus of we want to shape a future, not just an economy, but a future community that complements our character, values, and resources. And so the question really is, how do we go about doing it? And so how do we get there? That's why we're all here today, to try and figure out what are the steps that we as a community, and when I say a community, I mean the Tetons region, what are the steps that we as a community can take to actively shape a future that complements our character, our values, and our resources. So in trying to do that, what we're doing is trying to build on last year. Last year, we made the assumption that we may have been given lemons, but we could make lemonade, to use the cliche. And what we were really searching for was 2 big goals. One was to create an overview perspective of everything going on in the community and then start really leaping our thoughts ahead toward the future. And my personal goal for last year's 22 and 21 was to come out with one really great idea, and not just a great idea, but a great idea that could be put into action. And the group that met at Table 14 last year really did that. They really came up with some really great stuff. And Chris Hessler, who's here representing Table 14, will give you an overview at lunch about what they were able to accomplish. And the interesting thing about what Chris is going to say is not so much the details, although it's really fascinating, but they just had an idea and they went with it. And it didn't have to be perfect, but they just tried doing a whole bunch of different stuff, and a lot of it was really successful. And I'm hoping that that will serve as an inspiration to many of us as we think about steps that we can take in 2013. From last year, we got two general sets of feedback. One was about the work groups, and people were really enthusiastic about it because it felt like some really good work was getting done. And so this year, in response to that feedback, we've tried to build more work group time in, and so we're going to be asking you to do an awful lot of stuff. The second was about the speakers, and what people liked about our speakers last year was that all of us, not choosing to necessarily, but we all operate in our own little silos, and so what people really enjoyed about last year was getting a much broader perspective on the world around them outside of their own little silos. What people weren't quite so happy about was that in some of the speeches last year, the real nuggets, the gems, the takeaways got lost. And so what we are trying to do this year is what we're calling 3-minute futures. So you're going to hear from 15 people in 45 minutes, each of them talking no more than 3 minutes, and we're going to be brutal about cutting them off. So the first couple of people are probably going to just squirm, and so you can get some schadenfreude out of seeing their misery when they're down to a few seconds and they got a lot to jam in. And you'll notice I'm not holding myself to that same standard. And this is Francis. And anyway, so based on last year's feedback, we're going to do these 3-minute drills. And so that's the basic overview. And finally, I've just got a couple of logistical things and a little bit of relentless self-promotion. In your packets, many of you have a Jackson Hole Compass magazine. And we're not going to be giving you many facts or figures because it's all in the Compass. But the good news there is, from our perspective, is that the Compass sold out. And so all of the last remaining compasses in Jackson Hole are sitting in your packets for those of you who got them. And so that, of course, is an opportunity to put them on eBay and make some money. But also the advertising deadline for this year's Compass is coming up in June or April. So when the Jackson Hole News and Guide representative gets in touch with you, think about it. And a couple other logistical things. Also in your packets or at your seat, you should have a certificate from Spring Creek Resort. And as their way of thanking you for coming up here today, it's a 2-for-1 offer. And also, under one seat at every table is an envelope, and it has a special gift from Spring Creek. So if you don't like the seat you're sitting at, there are a few extra seats up here, and maybe you'll get lucky. And finally, in my final act of relentless self-promotion, this costs a lot of money. This is a $15,000 event we're having today, and about 150 of you, so do the math, and it's about $100 per. Again, because of our sponsors, we were able to make this happen. But we're gratefully accepting donations down front at the table, credit card, cash, or check. And also, part of our thinking is what we're really here about is shaping our own future. And the 1% for the Tetons effort that Chartour also runs, it's putting our money where our mouth is. In 6 years, we put out $620,000 to 54 projects here in the Tetons region. It's a really remarkable thing. Tim Bradshaw from All Trips is here, and a couple of other members are here as well. And if you have any questions about 1% for the Tetons, it's a great opportunity for you to really put your money where your mouth is in terms of creating a future that complements our values, character, and resources. With that, Fran Van Houten is going to become your task mistress for the next hour. Thank you very much and welcome.
We're 2 minutes late.